things that I have an issue on doing. Like, I don't know how to speak up at the right time. I could I hold it in all the way to it boils up, and then I just boom go out at it, and I just start screaming, and I just start yelling. And so, like, a lot of times I don't know when to say things, and a lot of times I don't know when not to say things. And I can't tell if this is just like a human behavior, or if this is just like who I am, or if it's just a personality or a disability. But I feel like it's hard for me to speak up at certain times in family oriented things, and when I need to. Uh, it's a struggle. A lot of times my family picks and choose what to pick on, and determining my reaction to it is their behavior towards me during out the day. And I know it's because I'm schizoaffective. I passive a lot, and I stupid. For the most part, like I'm not savvy. I'm not human savvy. I'm odd savvy. Like I don't have the human normal behavior. I have the Jemai awkward, weird, she does shit that's stupid behavior. I don't have the human behavior. If somebody was to knock on the door, I slap the door. If somebody was to press a button, I'll push. I'll like fucking stab it. I'm a totally opposite person. That's just how it is, and like I struggle a lot because I'm wondering, is this a disability or is this my personality? And it pisses me the fuck off sometimes. Like, I deal with split personalities, and a lot of times I'm not myself unless I'm like highly on medication or writing. Other than that, I'm dilly-dallying in my personalities, figuring out something to write, and so I'm not, I guess you could say, mentally of this world. Okay, that sounded a little bit schizoaffective, but I wonder why I can't express myself the way that I want to express myself. A lot of times a person rethinks what they thoughts before they even say it. So they don't really say exactly what's on their mind. They think about it first. On the other hand, there's times where I just say too much without thinking, and there's times where I don't say things, and I overthink, And 99% of the time it's the overthink thing and not the say things that I want. And I'm working on that because I want to be able to say something that, yes, I had to conjure the word up in my head, but it just comes out. I don't want to overthink anymore. I don't want to fight or flight or fight or flight. Is that what it's called? Or I don't want to fucking be so mute. It's making my hair go out. So you see that? I almost have like one whole side on. No, I just have a crooked forehead. And that's a bald spot. And so that's one of the things I mainly struggle about, I guess, communication wise. And I could sit there all day not say nothing, expecting everybody to read my mind, but they can't read my mind. And then they could sit there all day assuming they know exactly what's going on, but honestly they're seeing it the totally opposite way. And being that I'm only very young at coming out of a cage, because you're in a cage for a long period of time until you go out on your own, and then on your loose rampage, and you start to grow, and you start to develop your own empire in life, your own castle. It's technically, and I just recently, a few years ago, got out of my cage, and it's almost like a culture shock, and no matter how many years has passed since then, I still have the postmortem, and it fucking irritates the fucking living shit out of me, because I'm like, over here trying to live life saying, oh, okay, I have a new page that just turned without me fucking knowing. A new page turns, you know. Life is like that. Sometimes your pages turns without you knowing. And then, boom, you don't know what to do because you start to get flashbacks because that looked exactly like the thing that was in my life back in the day when I was struggling in this and this and that. Or she sounded just like the moron that annoys the shit out of me. You know, like simple shit like that. And I'm 31 years old, going on 32. And the most that I've done for my life is gotten my mental illness together. And that's not even together itself. And I have so many people around me pampering me and making sure that I'm okay, because I'm so sensitive with these things that it's almost impossible for me to be like, hey, I'm a grown adult. You know, like, I don't like wearing diapers, but I need help. You know, it is not my fault that I was born schizoaffective. I didn't know that that's what the behavior that was going on, you know. For a good 28 to 29 years, I was running around rampage out of my cage. I was in a cage, but I was running rampage with lack of knowledge of what symptoms I had, and without even knowing my personality was changing on its own. You know, it's just it almost scares me that I was like that. But at the same time, I'm like, that's where I got my best writing from. You know, when I was running rampage, when my mind was going crazy, I was writing my best poems and thinking the best thoughts and doing the most possible. You know, like there was no care in the world. I lived life like no care in the world. Even though there was a moment where I got stuck in the house because of fear of leaving the house, I still, at moments when I was out, lived like there was no care in the world. And I've become a bit more timid. And I guess that's the process of growing up. And, well, my living like there's no weight in the world isn't as flamboyant as most people, because I'm an introvert. Well, extrovert, introvert. Introvert, extrovert. Well, it's like a strain. I'm more sativa than indica, which is not fact. I'm more indica than sativa. So I'm a introvert, extrovert. Introvert, extrovert. I don't know how to say it. And my flamboyant life is writing something that's nice, or creating a world that doesn't even exist, or sitting on a beach for hours out of the day and just looking at the sun. That's kind of like the only things that I will really do throughout the day, because that's basically what I did, unless I was in judo or boxing, you know. And that was my highlight of the life. I would think going to the movies was like going to a drug party, or like that's how boring I am. So it's not like I'm a person that does flamboyant things or stuff like that, but that's my type of outgoing. And so slowly, you know, now that I'm recuperating from being in war with myself, I'm getting myself back together, I guess. You know, I want to take note that I'm coming back. You know, when I first came back into shelter from being on the streets for such a long time, even though I'm still homeless, it was hard for me to sleep. It still is hard for me to sleep, but that's caused by insomnia and symptoms, not by the lifestyle that I had to adapt to. But it was hard for me to sleep, and it took weeks and weeks for me to adjust to sleeping on something softer than concrete. And so the first day I slept on something soft fully, my body did not understand it. It was almost like, what the fuck is that soft shit on my soft body? Oh my God, you know? And then after a while, gradually it got conditioned into the fact that it was like, oh, that is a nice, comfortable, soft bed. Although I still prefer sleeping on hard floors, that's how long it took. So I believe that this is how long it's going to take for me to adapt to the normal behavior in life after going through this process of stress. Like, it takes time. I have to recondition my mind into the normal style, or the human style. I don't know what normal is. I feel like me screaming out loud is fucking normal. That's the fucking normal thing. I hear a lot of motherfuckers fucking screaming. They don't scream like, ah, but they scream like, what the fuck, you know? So I don't understand what normal is. I feel like normal is if you want to go around with the pajamas you had on for 10 weeks, if they don't stink, by all means, go for it. But then at the same time, it's my stink at the same time, you know? Like, I don't wash my clothes all the time. But that's just how I am. That's the natural me. So I'm saying, be natural. If you feel like you don't have to wash your clothes every day, okay, go ahead. No, I'm just joking. Don't do that. That's just lack of financials. It has nothing to do with my behavior. I just don't have financials to wash my clothes every day. But if I did, I'll probably wash it every once a week, every twice, one or two times a week. Today's a boring day. I keep criticizing people and myself. I keep criticizing gratitude as if it's something of persecution. And it annoys the shit out of me. Like, it freaks me out. I'm around different crowds of people almost all the time. And although they're the same character, they're just different, you know. Whatever. I forgot what I was going to talk about. If old was mixed with new and new was mixed with old, what would it be? It won't be new and it won't be old. It's technically not a... Well, it can't be a... Well... What is that? What does that mean? If the old... Maybe somebody of high degree would know the answer to that question. Because it's impossible to make something new out of an old, and it's possible to make something old out of a new. And it's like your heart. Your heart has that two pumps, the one that makes the old and out the new. But then to a point, and somewhere in your heart, the old and the new is connected together, right? So that portion of blood, so the dirty blood comes in your heart this way, right? And then this way, and then the clean one pumps out that way. But in between, there's a center where the both clean and dirty is mixed together. What type of blood is that called? And if you can figure out what type of blood that is called, then maybe you can figure out what type of antidote it will be if good was mixed, the old was mixed with the new, and the new was mixed with the old. I would think it would be in a hypothetical world that I would know the answer to that. And I wish I had all means and opportunities to create a hypothetical world visually instead of just talking about it. Because, man, in my role, there's so many nations in there. Like, I hop from one to one, and then, like, sometimes it's like a web. You know how you web things out? And so there's certain ways that you have to do things in order to get to the next level. And that's how it is. So in my world, in my mind, because there's so many worlds, because I have so many personalities, they all have an area where there's a certain way you have to land. And hypothetically, I could create these things hypothetically in my head, and possibly some things can be a right resource if I had the education. I don't know. Now I'm just talking a lot of shit. It's all by myself day. I'm craving to leave the house, but I have no resources to leave the house. I finally got a resource to get shelter. Now I have to find a resource to go out the house and have an enjoyable time. Because it is a dull day. The gloomy day. And that's one of the perfect days to be on the beach and just smoking a joint. And I'm slowly getting my life back. So slowly maybe that will happen again. Who knows? I don't know. But who knows? I don't know. I know you don't know. Back to playing the game. My hair grew. So, it's nappy. What are the odds if you was to make all these videos and then, like, the whole entire world was watching your videos, and then boom, they found the answer to a cure to whatever it is by just listening to each word of the things that you said, even though you didn't say. You probably said something that probably cracked a code on something, and it's probably pretty cool. Alright, that's me. No.